And the bladder, same. It will contract the bladder. That's why if you have anticholinergic drug, then you'll have urinary hesitancy because you won't have the normal contraction of the bladder. So we shall restrict ourselves today to the parasympathetic nervous system. And we know about the neurotransmitters. From our summary that I sent last time, we know that the sympathetic nervous system mostly uses epinephrine. And it's usually a mixed signaling between acetylcholine and epinephrine. The parasympathetic nervous system entirely uses acetylcholine, both in the pre and post-ganglionic signaling. Now, we shall talk about cholinergic drugs. These are drugs that have choline, acetylcholine effect. So they're either antagonist acetylcholine or will have acetylcholine-like effects. And that's where, before people discovered acetylcholine, they used to talk about drugs that have a parasympathomimetic activity. And for those opposing the functions of acetylcholine, they're called parasympatholytics. So we shall be using those terms interchangeably. They basically mean the same. Now, so acetylcholine basically is the principal neurotransmitter at the neuromuscular junction. Now, this is important because if anything happens to the synthesis or the metabolism of acetylcholine at the neuromuscular junction, then people will develop some symptoms that will cause something that looks like paralysis because muscles will be flaccid. And patients have to be given drugs to boost the function of acetylcholine at the NMJ. Now, how are these molecules synthesized and stored? So they're synthesized on site at the preganglionic fibers and also at the parasympathetic nerve endings, sweat glands. Sweating is purely a parasympathetic function, and from what I gave you last time is do sweat glands have a sympathetic input?
Yes.
Can you sweat willingly? If you refer to your notes, sweat glands have one of those few body systems that just have one form of innervation. Also in the skeletal muscle, adrenal medulla, and CNS. Now, I've said they're manufactured or produced on site because they're required in all those sites. So this is basically what we gave last time. So the parasympathetic nervous system will have acetylcholine, preganglionic site, and also acetylcholine on both sides. Then sympathetic nervous system, we said it's a mixture of adrenaline and acetylcholine, and this is something that I gave in the notes that I sent last time. So the production you said is on site, and this is the preganglionic membrane, and this is the synaptic cleft, or in the muscle, this is a neuromuscular junction. And the raw materials is you need an acetyl-CoA, these are coenzyme, and choline. And it's a one-step process to produce acetylcholine. It's a simple molecule. And because it has an ester bond, it's prone to be metabolized by esteresis, acetylcholine, or we have pseudo-cholinesteresis, random esterases that can metabolize any ester-containing molecule. So acetylcholine cannot survive in the presence of pseudocholinesterases as well as specific esterases designed to metabolize acetylcholine. And this is something that takes seconds, from production and metabolism takes seconds. And I don't know if we talked about how it's taken back, how it's metabolized. Okay, it can be metabolized on site, okay, by an enzyme called we've said cholinesterase. It can be taken back, okay, and recycled. Okay, it can also be metabolized somewhere away from the cleft. So those are the three mechanisms through which it's metabolized. Now, what you know is after release, then it will bind to specific receptors on this side. And these receptors, depending on the location, can either be nicotinic receptors or they can be muscarinic receptors, and we shall see their distribution and their action. So this is purely what we've talked about, from the production to release. In case there's a signal coming from this side, it will lead to release of acetylcholine into the space, the cleft, then it will bind to specific receptors and then cause a signal on the postsynaptic nerve. Now, so we talked about these cholinesterases. They can either be true ones or in plasma we'll have, or in the liver we'll have the general, the non-specific cholinesterases called pseudocholinesterases. So for the receptors, even before I go here, where do you find nicotinic receptors? We did this in physiology for sure. Where do you find the nicotinic receptors? They have very limited distribution. I don't have to call names. Ahmed?
Yes.
Yes, nicotinic receptors.
Well, I think they are found in the central nervous system.
Wow. Agido, Mercy?
Yes, I think, they're found in near the brain. Okay, on the brain, but I don't know on which side of the brain.